starting with, first of all, man, that was really cool. Like last time when we had the call and we reviewed the content the week after, gave me like this 4-prong structure for our interviews. And I think it's actually going to be really cool. So today we're going to cover exactly that. So we're going to cover the industry news, and I'll ask you for some of the comments. We'll cover some product updates if you have any for Morning AI. Then we're going to do lots of the, oh, that's fantastic. That's going to be really good. Then we're going to dive deeper into some of the features, either from the updates, or we can just continue on because we haven't covered the entire platform. And then at the end, we can go and talk about a couple of the visual styles, because we saw last time, like you have like 60, 100, 150 of them. There's a bunch of them. Like, it's more than enough for a couple of months of content. So that said, the industry news that I have for us today is gonna be the Meta Muse image. Have you had the chance to read about it yet?
I haven't, so tell me about it. Let's dig into Meta Muse.
Right, so I got the link for us in here. The quick brief is basically they're right now launching something, you could call it similar enough for to Morning AI, where you basically get to generate your own images and plug them directly into Meta AI, and so directly into their advertising platform. So actually, I think it will be an interesting commentary for us to just like go through the article and kind of, as you're reading this, like just drop any of the thoughts that you have, because I think, well, it's actually one of the things that I learned, that the content we're commentating on the trends like directly in this kind of raw style, at least on Instagram, it's working super well. I'll be curious to test it out on LinkedIn because it might be interesting. So we can even roll it up as you're going through it. I think it would be quite an interesting visual. If you have any thoughts, we'll see how that goes. It's quite an experimental one, but yeah, if you can share a screen with that, I think we'll have a pretty nice cover for it, a pretty nice background.
So some of this stuff I'll be okay with you sharing, some of it maybe not, but you can see my screen now?
Yes. The Arena AI.
Yeah, so this is, so just seeing here, Meta announced last week a new image
Chris,
model.
one thing I'll ask you for, because I think you're kind of dropping from the, or maybe it's just the preview that I see of you, but it looks like you're kind of under the frame. I'm not sure if that's, let me just pin you for a second. No, okay, so it's all right, but if you could just stick to the kind of middle of the screen, or maybe even lower the camera a little bit, because sometimes we're kind of out of the frame. I want yeah, that'll be, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that's very good. Hold on, like this, I at the level, that's gonna be maybe a tiny bit lower, tiny bit higher up, sorry. So that, oh, perfect, now it's good. Okay, let's carry on.
Is that better?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, so let's just see what Meta came out with. And you know, Leon, I think one challenge here is we're gonna be posting this like 2 weeks later, so there's like a recency issue. Well, I think we'll have to get to a point where we can release stuff like the next day kind of thing. So if there's like industry news stuff, maybe we prioritize with video editors of what they can come up with. So
we could also do posts without the commentary and just would be like with an image, like fully written by me, and like without your commentary, because that would, you know, wouldn't have to have that part. It's a few days old, so I think if we post it as the first thing next week, I think it's also going to be all right.
Yeah. So what's cool is another you know, multi-billion, trillion-dollar company has released a new image model for the world to take advantage of, and this one comes from Meta, which is their Muse image, which is really showing great promise based on the text-to-image leaderboard. So right now, this is a platform we use to one platform we use to understand performance. And so, you know, Google Banana Pro came out and was a, you know, runaway kind of success. And you can see how far they've already dropped, where Nano Banana 2 is now in kind of 5th place. And so there's GPT Image 2 is currently scoring number 1 in terms of overall performance. Now, this is just on one capability, right? So this is only looking at their ability to do text to image. which is one use case. There's also many other use cases where you're editing images, where you're refining images, you're transforming images into different sizes and things like that. So from just an initial like create your first image standpoint, this seems to be a very high performing image model, and it's one that we'll take a look at. To date, Meta has not had image generation quality that was strong enough for us to include in our model or in our platform. So I don't know. This will be interesting to look at and see how well it does.
Do you think CPG brands not using Morning AI would be able to increase their production output using just MetaMuse if they had some of the data in the platform?
Well, this goes back to the core issue is that Meta is not trained on their business, right? So it understands, a portion of their company. It understands what they do on social media. It doesn't understand what they're doing at retail. It doesn't understand what they're doing with Google Ads. It doesn't understand necessarily what they're doing on their website. So with Meta, they have a limited aperture in terms of what they can understand about a brand. So it's great that they've released this. I think it's promising, and we love that these trillion-dollar companies are spending to build these models. Really, the value for the CPG brands and other kind of consumer brands is how do you leverage this one tool, this one ingredient, along with the rest of your workflows. And so, how do you even get access to this? How does it connect to the rest of your data? What does it have access to? What does it not have access to? And so I think this is going to have limited adoption with brands specifically, other than potentially creating assets for social media ads, which is ultimately what Meta's doing. But Meta's very big. They're the biggest player in social media, but you also need assets for every other channel. And so, again, using Meta as an example, you're not going to use this platform necessarily to create assets to run on LinkedIn, which is their competitor. You're not going to use this to create assets on TikTok, which is their competitor, and so on and so forth. And so that's why I'd say, not to talk our own business here, but the value proposition of Morning AI, one of them is that we are aligned to the brand. We're not aligned to Meta. We're not aligned to Google. We're not aligned to TikTok. We're aligned to the brand. And so this model will be great. It'll be a tool. It'll be something we consider, but it's just one small piece of building a brand. And, but I love seeing the investment, and it's a good way for Meta to show up, and we'll see.
Fantastic. I actually love it because that's one of the, like hearing you say this, I love that we pretty much said the exact same things as we said in one of the last clips, as you said in one of the last clips. So we're actually getting new inputs coming in, but your message is very much on brand. And I think this consistency will actually be better clip after clip. So we have, I think, 2 clips from it as we're kind of chatting about it. One's more you commenting on it, and then looking at how it does compare with Morning AI. So I think that's fantastic. And that said, I think we can go to part number 2, which is tell me about the product updates, Chris.
Awesome. Well, we've made some huge updates. We actually made the biggest update we've ever made to our homepage, our user interface. And so when we were building Morning AI, we've always built it with the idea that you are constructing, a brand, and it's multi-channel, multi-function, and there's several jobs to do. And so with that creates complexity. And so our user interface was getting more complex as we added additional capabilities than we wanted it to. And so we've also been spending a lot of our research and development time on expanding how capable our agents are. And so I'll share my screen now and show you, but we've updated what our homepage looks like, and there's many capabilities that have been rolled out. And so I'll kind of highlight some of these for you.
Looking forward.
1 second. All right. And then we've got a really cool, it's not the most value add feature of our product, but it's brings to life our brand in such a way that, candidly all of us love. So let me share my screen here. All right.
That's nice.
You can see that?
Yes, all clear.
Yeah. So what I tell you is it's much cleaner than before. I wish I had the before and after. Maybe Leon, you can pull that up. Some of our before and after. I can show you a before and after. But there's a couple things that we've changed here. The first is we put the agent box front and center, so you can kick off any workflow straight from the agent. So it'll look familiar as people are growing accustomed to that being like the launch pad with the product. We've kind of fallen in line with what the rest of the industry is doing. The other thing that I would say is that we've also built what looks like a kind of a stock ticker here. And what's really powerful about this and how we plan to kind of continue to innovate off of this is we wanted like a really beautiful, really simple way to share with users what's going on in their business. And so when they log in, right now it's showing social media metrics here. You can also look at competitive activity. And so I just clicked and switched over to competitive activity. And now it's got different news headlines going there. I can also read a full report if I wanted to kind of dig in right from my dashboard, and I'll be able to choose, what kind of information do I want to pull up, social performance, competitive activity, sales performance, all that kind of information over time, but in a really clean, nice, beautiful kind of news way. The other thing that we've done is we've given you the ability to personalize your homepage. So right now I've got it set up to where it's showing playbooks and my recent work, but I can hide all of that. So if I just want it really clean, I can set it up and personalize it where it looks like that. Or if I just want to look at like what's going on in my week ahead, I can see my calendar there. I could keep my favorites front and center. I personally like having the playbooks front and center, and I like having my recent work there. So playbooks are these kind of multi-step routines that you let an agent kind of run for you. So we can talk about that a little bit. But one other update that we've made is the way your recent work is displayed. So we've actually broken this up into 3 different elements. The first is what's the work that you've done yourself, what's work that you've had done by AI agents, and what's work you've done by Morning AI specialists. And those are real humans doing work for you. And so all 3 of those kind of stakeholders, entities, however you want to think about it. But there's work that's being done by you inside the platform. There's work that's being done by AI agents for you. And then there's work that's being done by real human marketing specialists for you as well. And so you can click there to see what's being done by each of those groups for you and see how it's done. So if you've sent something off and you've had an agent run some work for you overnight, you can check on that work. If you've had a human marketing specialist, update an image for you overnight, you can have that. You can evaluate how that work looks. And so it's just a much easier way to navigate the screen.
It's really cool. It's keeping the work and actually getting the job done front and center, which I think is one of the kind of pitches of Morning AI, right? Like we'll get that job done for you, so you don't have to have all these people and all these tools and overpaying for them. I really like the UI, by the way, as a kind of an offhanded comment here, but it looks very much like all the like normal standard AI models, right? If you go to Claude or if you go to ChatGPT, that's kind of the chat interface that you get. So like a lot of people are already trained on it, and you're just like playing into this trend of that's already happening and just letting people associate that further with Morning AI. Like big thumbs up for it. I really like it.
Yeah, no, one thing that we've done that's completely unique, but it embodies our idea as a company, And so I'll show you this here in a second. So right now I'm showing you what we call like the classic look and feel of the model. But we really, our name is Morning AI, which in and of itself is emotional. That there's a new day, it's a new start, it's a fresh perspective, and also that the morning comes on a daily basis, right? Uh, and so what we've done is we've created this view up here where you can change colors based off of the time of day. Now, I'm just going to click the demo mode. And what's so cool about this is, and I think it's really beautifully done, and we'll keep refining it and fine tuning some of the colors and things like that. But I'm going to put on the demo mode, and you're going to see how it cycles through a 24-hour period. And you'll see that the colors that appear on the screen are directly related to your time zone and what time of day it is that you're working. So just like when you're opening up like Apple's weather app, you can, it resonates with like the weather and where you're at in your location. You can have it on auto mode. And so right now it's 12:03 for me, PM in Pacific time. So it's a bright blue. It resonates with what's going on out in the world. But if I'm working late at night, I'll definitely want like dark mode on, and it automatically will set that, and so it updates it across the entire application. But if you have a favorite color scheme that you want, if you like that blue look or you like our kind of classic look that we've always had, you can set that as your default, and it won't do it. But it's something that I think adds a little bit of personality to the brand and the experience, and honestly, I feel it's like it has a quite I don't want to say emotional like impact, but it really feels appropriate when you have it on this auto mode, because it just as a human, it reflects your world that you're in. And so when I'm waking up in the morning and I see it, and it's got this nice soft almost like sunrise aesthetic to it, it really does, like, it has a more profound effect than I actually thought it would, that it resonated with me. And like as we were all using the application, testing this out, why we went in this direction is it genuinely feels good to be inside the software, and it feels like what it's correlated with your time of day. And then same thing as you like move to like sunset and the early evening hours, uh, and then if you're grinding in the middle of the night kind of thing, it really connects with you as a human and what you're experiencing, as we're all on this big rock, circling the sun.
That's sick. Are you the first ones to actually come up with it? Did you look it up somewhere? Because it's like it's so fucking cool. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of anyone doing it. Maybe it does exist, but I've never heard anyone do it. But it changes every. I think there's 24 color schemes that it runs through. And so
That's
right
so
now, again,
cool.
it's midday, so it's blue and bright, which a lot of brand experts would tell you that don't do that. You've got color. Color is a big part of your brand identity and that sort of thing. But to me, like what we want is people inside the product to feel, at peace. They feel like it's a place they can go and work from. And so again, as like a human, this to me has a really beautiful way of making you feel like the software's connected with your real world environment.
Dude, you fucking added mood to a UX. That's so cool. That is so cool. Like I'm like seeing it for the first time. Like if you see me having these reactions, like imagine all the users as they're rolling it out. Have you got any feedback on it yet?
Honestly, it just rolled out today. So
shit.
I mean, everyone we've exposed it to has gotten excited about it, and I think it's going to be a little bit of an Easter egg where when people log in for the first time, they're going to see this notification pop up that explains the home and how it's been rebuilt around them, and how they can talks about it. But we don't want it to be we want it to be part of like the investment of intentionally designing a product that they're going to fall in love with and love to use. And so we know the color scheme is not why someone chooses our software. It's not like if you listed out their buying criteria, they're going to say, "Oh, I want my UI to match the, evening colors when that's what's going on in my world. But it's this kind of thoughtfulness that will make people feel at home and feel like it's a place they love working. And so, um, yeah. So the short answer to your question is, everyone that has seen it so far loves it, and I think it's going to be a great wave for us to bring our brand to life. And we'll do more with that over time.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's quite some product updates. Any
Yeah.
more, or are we jumping into some of the features?
I think just one of with this comes lots of I call it like tightening up of our UI. So we're continuing to improve the way our the agents UI looks, and you'll see massive updates to this in the weeks ahead. And you'll be able to have, we've added, some different prompts that will adjust based off of who you are and what you're trying to achieve. um, the playbooks, we've just added a couple new playbooks. So for like event marketers out there, if you need help creating like a run of show, that will help you do that. If you're doing like event logistics or you need help writing a press release, those sorts of things have been rolled out. And so we encourage everyone to use that. We also have something called Marketing Ops, which is pretty cool. It basically is something you can run every day. It will go through and read your emails, and Slack messages and your recent work and that sort of thing. If you obviously have to give it permission to do that, and it'll give you a summary of what matters to you that day. And so it's a good way for you just to like wake up in the morning, click the Marketing Ops. It'll kind of summarize what's going on for the day for you, and then you can, you know, get to work without having to go to 7 different places to pull that together for you.
All right, it's really cool. Think the calendar. I'm thinking of the things that we've covered because we went deeply into the studio last time. Like we went deep with the brand DNA, the customer DNA. We got to the sales as well. I think we didn't cover the AI agents. Do you think there's enough for us to demo before you make these changes in the upcoming weeks?
I'd probably hold off just because I know that maybe like 2 weeks from now we'll have some more, because like I think right now if we demoed the agents, um, I think that I mean I can talk about them briefly. We could probably make a clip out of it, and I think that maybe let me switch over to like another brand, so it's not Morning AI. Um, so one of the things that we're building is a fully integrated platform, right? And so as you think about like the way the DNA is set up, you can come here and use the at symbol. And what's cool about this is you're giving specific tags essentially to everything in DNA. So right now, all of your custom audiences are here as well as your products. And so this is a way for you to instantly pull up things in your product catalog. So if you're wanting to like, let's say like I wanted to run, well, in this account, I've only got a, let's say like performance reporting. It's not a good example. Well, if I wanted to like create an image, for example, and I wanted to say like create an image with, I could go to like this product here, targeting, this persona here, and then hit go. It knows exactly what product I'm targeting. It pulls in all the image references, it pulls in all the details, as well as everything about that audience, and it'll create assets that way. So that's pretty powerful. And as we're going and building capabilities, and we just got off a call this morning working on this, but all of the whole system will be connected. So if you create an image and then you want to turn that into an Instagram post or a LinkedIn post, you'll be able to do that directly from the platform. And so it'll then populate it to your calendar. It'll, post it directly to your social media feed or your website, that sort of thing.
are these outputs gonna be available in the studio? Can you do edits on them? How does that work?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So right
Okay.
now, the example I'm showing you, it's just going to show it here. But you'll have the edit capability. So you'll be able to click edit and you'll be able to have all the same editing capabilities you have in Studio right here within the agent mode.
Okay. So that's the one of the upcoming changes. That's
Yep.
right.
So this right
Okay.
now, you can just view the image, download it. Looks like they've made a mess in front of their laptop here. They probably got to clean that up.
A little bit. I think it's really interesting because now that I'm seeing it, obviously you're using like the agents technically in the studios, right? But you kind of have to do it manually, and or maybe not the agents, but like you're doing the same exact things as you're doing in the studio, except it's a different UI, right? And it's a UI that more and more people are getting used to with the AI tools.
Yeah, so it's about preferences, right? So some people love this agent mode where you're just talking, but some people like this where you're just creating images in a more traditional, UI, which is there's neither is wrong, right? And so it's about how do you create the experience that works for brands and their teams. So I think the answer is people are going to want both, and how do you make that as seamless as possible? And we're working very hard to keep all of it inside of one application, so you don't have to keep moving between tabs and different software platforms and that sort of thing. But that edit mode that you're seeing here on the screen now, if you wanted to edit an image, all these kind of features, that'll all be available inside of the agent mode as well.
Okay, I think we'll skip the clipping out the part about the features that are upcoming to the agents. I think we'll
Yep.
just focus on what is right now. I don't think there'd be much purpose because we're going to talk about it anyways in a couple of weeks. That'll be the case. What I think would be valuable right now, what's the last thing below the studio on the left-hand side? Is it signals or
Channels.
channels?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where
I'd
you get the
probably skip
overview.
this too, but we can. Yeah. This
Okay,
is where you'll see like we're going to let people go deep on like their channel performance. So if you wanted to see how things, the reason why I'm skipping it because we're going to make a big update to the way this looks.
okay,
Like
right, yeah,
it's kind
fair,
of overwhelming right now.
fair.
But you can see much more detail. Like, oh, here's all the posts we did on LinkedIn, and here's what we did on Instagram, Facebook. So you'll be able to segment that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so I think from what we've covered so far, I think we have two options to go right now. I think for the 15 minutes, that'll be perfect. So first of all, we could go maybe deeper into some of the playbooks if you have some examples at hand, because I think some of the use cases, like one is like a clip, so we could make a post even out of them. Which of the playbooks would you say have you seen make the most impact, or which ones are your favorite maybe?
Yeah. So why don't we do one playbook and then we do one
The
style,
styles.
maybe?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. I like it.
So the playbook that I'll show you right now is let's do this search and traffic performance report. And so all you have to do is push the \P's, hit search traffic and performance report. Now I'm just going to put in here. I don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it just to be safe and say, run this for morning AI.com. Hit enter. And what this is going to do and why this is so powerful is, and this is again why I think it's so important to articulate this, that we are aligned to the brand and their perspective. And so we are not aligned to Google, but we know Google's incredibly important and powerful and we should, work with them, and we do. And because the brand needs access to information, to manage their business, what we've done is created a playbook that will go speak with your Google Search Console, your Google Analytics capabilities together at the same time. And so an agent and sub agents will go pull information from there. And then it will actually write you a completely integrated report about what's going on inside of your um, website, as well as where your opportunities are, what actions you need to take, where your traffic's coming from, and that sort of thing. And so you can see right now it's going out and telling us what our search queries are. Now it's providing like a quick executive summary or TLDR, what's going on with the number of sessions, what our traffic's up. And Leon, obviously, we don't want to show this uh, actual data to the world,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you can see
yeah,
like
yeah.
so traffic is up 65% versus the last 30 days, which is great. Number of users is almost 100%. Um, that we've got we're doing bad. We don't like track conversions right now. And so that's a problem. We've got almost all our traffic's coming from people that know our brand. We're getting a lot of impressions, so it's doing a great job like analyzing what's going on, and then it goes deep on what's like where the opportunities are. What are the top queries? What are the top pages? What are the then it goes deep on Google Analytics, sessions by different sources. What are the top pages? What are the opportunities and recommendations? So what's so cool about this is then it's got reports that you can download. Um, and just to show you, it's all responsive. So if you need to do that, you can. But I'll keep it on classic mode for now. It shows you that, but then you can talk to it. You can ask follow-up questions. You can even ask it to put it into a presentation, or you can ask it to put it into a PDF format that you can download and export, or a PowerPoint. And but right now, this is kind of just helping you get a base understanding. But if you think about how powerful that is, you don't have to open up Google Search Console. You don't have to open up Google Analytics. All you had to do is click connect twice, and now you have a full report presented to you. And it's again rooted in your brand, your website, everything else that Morning AI knows about your platform. And then you can start focusing on how this has an impact on your business. And what I will say about this particular playbook, that when we've shown this to and we've gotten feedback from marketers, what was so awesome about it was that we stopped talking about Morning AI, and they immediately started talking about their business and their brand, and they wanted to know more. They were like, "Oh, that's fascinating. I wonder why we're getting traffic from over here. I wonder why we're getting more clicks over here. I wonder why we're not doing this. Is it because of our recent website updates? Is it because we ran this ad campaign over here?" So all of the complexity of AI and these connecting, API calls and MCP servers, all of that just goes away. The marketers just immediately, and this was a team call, there were several people on the call. They immediately jumped in, were like, "Hey, but how do I want to learn more, and I want to know more about my business, and how do we then take this and share this with our CEO? And like, do we need to, like, how do we get this out?" And so it just was so great to see them immediately learn about their company, about their business and their website performance and their SEO, but then immediately start asking follow-up questions that would have taken hours, days, weeks to do, or maybe never have done at all before because they didn't know the right questions to ask. And so, again, it's as simple as connecting to Google Search Console through Morning AI, connecting to Google Analytics, and then clicking on a playbook, and then it runs the report for you, and you can read through it and absorb the information, and then get on with making the corrections right from the platform.
That's incredible. I love the part when you said like it drove them away from thinking about Morning AI and immediately about thinking about their own business. But guess where they're hanging out to read all that data, right? So it's really it was a really good point. Quick question: which of the data here in the screen share are you comfortable sharing?
I would just not like this shot here is fine, like where you're just showing
The charts. Okay.
like this is okay because it doesn't say it's Morning AI's performance. Like I don't want anyone to
Right.
see like, oh, Morning AI's got exactly 4,000 sessions in the last 28 days. Like that's something I wouldn't want out in the world. That kind of stuff. So like the text here is probably not something I'd want people to be able to see when you do this, but like, maybe some stuff like this where it doesn't give you specific numbers, like maybe these like this, like just as you're recording or like looking at this, like this shot right here, it's just talking about like fixed conversion, things like that. You could show that, but I wouldn't want it to be like, here's your 4,000 sessions that people are doing 8 minutes per. Like that's something I wouldn't want out in the world.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe
But like
I'll just take some
this is
screenshots for
fine
interviews.
with like the direct sessions because it's not it's showing like where we're getting traffic from. That's okay. I wouldn't want this to be out there either because it's. But this is showing actually the number of sessions too, so I probably wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe I can give you another brand and we can. Or actually, here's one thing you can do, Leon. Like we can use AI to change these. So like we can grab a screenshot of these and then just change the numbers. And then I've done that for blog posts and stuff. So
just do some image overlay. Yeah, that should be easy enough.
Yeah.
Then it won't be a.
Or you just tell it to change the numbers. Yeah, you can just say like, "I'll change the numbers on here."
Or should like clicks in thousands.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the marketing. All right, we got the playbook covered. So now onto the last part of our content interview, which would be the styles. Let's pick up 1 to 2 styles and let's go deep. And if you can tell me who exactly is using these styles most, who is this most valuable for?
Yeah, so let's first like just remember what styles are. So styles are a personalized way to bring a brand to life. Some of them are curated and built by different art directors, creative directors around the world, and we release them at least once a year. And then we also create custom styles for a brand. And so there are lots of different styles within Morning Eye. There's over 100 of them specifically, but what's so powerful about them is it allows you to create assets, lots of different assets across the platform that will stay consistent. And so what we never want is a brand to be using Morning AI and for their end users to think like, oh, AI made that, or that was AI generated. Like that's a fail, right? Like you want it to feel on brand. You want it to feel like it's been that AI is out of the conversation. It's just about the product. It's just about the value proposition that they have and it communicating what they want. And so maybe we'll just play with this style here. So this is like one kind of I don't call it a random one we'll pick, but it's a really beautiful style. It's call it minimalist white space. So it's very clean, serene, kind of elegant, pretty understated. And so this is something that a brand can use if you're like a luxury brand here and you want to create like a really high end kind of look for your brand that has got like lots of strong shadows. Maybe you're a hotel chain. Maybe you are, a travel company trying to bring things to life. Could be, very useful. But what's so cool about the way the styles are working, let's just pick another brand here. Let's use like, let's use Olipop as a fun one. Which honestly, their product tastes amazing. I don't know how often you try it, but I had some over the weekend, which was great.
Olipops. I need to order some. I don't think we have it over in Europe.
Yeah. So let's just pick like, I don't know, what's your favorite flavor? Do you like strawberry, the ginger ale, peaches, cherry?
Yeah.
Ginger ale is good. Okay. Good. So we're just gonna pick this like ginger ale flavor. And now we're going to go pick that style. And we're here talking about, the minimalist style. And we picked, we've got a couple different minimalist style. I think we picked, Keep Me Honest.
I think it was the white space.
Yeah, here we go. So we're just going to select this style here. And then, we can add any details that we want. So I'm going to, just for the initial go, I'm just going to not add any text. And so any additional detail. So this is going to create that product in about 2 minutes in that style. But what's going to be cool is the product itself will remain intact. It's just the scene that it's going to be in, the setting is going to be in, it's going to be there. But I can also then do something really beautiful and create an ad for it. So like I'll just say like I want a social media ad that can be used for Instagram, encouraging people to buy for a summer, pool party. And then I'll hit create. And I'm using the ultra mode, which is going to take a little bit longer. So it takes about 2 minutes in total. And then you're going to see pop up here 4 images for each one of those briefs that we wrote. And let's see what it came up with. And just as a reminder, like the idea behind ultra mode is that it's creating a very premium look. In that, sorry, not that it's creating a premium look. The idea behind ultra mode is that it actually helps a user achieve a production ready asset so that it is goes through a much more extensive process to evaluate the creative work that was built against all of the brand guidelines, and it ensures that your packaging, your details, your all the text and that sort of thing are all accurate, and it tells you when it's not. So in this example, you can see the green check mark. It tells you that it passed our quality scores, whereas this one got a 6 out of 10. You can see that there's some text that might be garbled. The can base changed a little, color changed a little bit. So really fine details that it's picking up on. And, if you just look at the specific image at first glance, you might not even pick up on that if you're just, flying throughout your day. But the AI is helping you understand what the issues are, and you can decide whether they're issues that you need to fix or not. And so if they are, you can, click here and the AI will fix them for you. And then you can see up here, I added a little bit of context to the kind of pool kind of party atmosphere that I wanted to create on social media. And you can just see how beautiful it is. And it's clearly got this like very premium, strong shadow aesthetics, but it also kept your product exactly intact, and it didn't do that. So I'm going to favorite that. Now, one thing we might
incredible because sorry, just one comment. I think it's quite incredible because even in that image, it actually kept the details of the letters, like all of them. That's really, really, really good. Is that the ultra mode or?
Yeah.
Okay, super good.
And what's so cool is, let's just pick like another leather style so you can see like a comparison. So I'm going to pick this like retro refreshment. And so I don't know, Leon, I'm just talking out loud with you, by the way. Maybe one thing we do is like do a side by side and show like the same brief with 2 different styles and allowing creatives to explore. And so this is, with that minimalist style that we created earlier. And now I'm going to do it with a new style, which is called retro refreshment. I'm not going to change anything else about the brief. It just says I want a social media ad that can be used for Instagram, encouraging people to buy for a summer pool party. And what you're going to see is it's going to continue to keep your brand, your product intact, all the text and details correct, but it's going to show up in a completely different style. So give this about 2 minutes and you'll see that come to life. Yeah, so you can see this one was a minimalist white space. This is minimalist white space without any brief or any context added. This is with it saying we want something to use on Instagram for a pool party. This one's going to say Instagram pool party kind of vibe, but it's going to use this really completely different retro refreshment style. So you can imagine as a brand, you want to create different campaigns, you want to create different styles, different treatments as your brand evolves. And so maybe you have a campaign running for the holidays or for the summer or the fall. And so you can pick different styles um, that are available and make sure your brand shows up in a creative way.
I think it's so cool. I think one of the things that'll be interesting and something that I can do myself would be taking, say, a product like the ginger ale Olipop. By the way, I don't think I have access to Olipop. Would you be able to give me the access to it? Is it a demo brand, by the way, or is it one of your clients?
It's just
Demo brand.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it'd be super cool because one of the things that I could do if it got some proper shots, we could make a carousel out of it. To show like different products with all the different moods can work quite well. On LinkedIn carousels used to work very well in 2025. Then they like churned it out completely for Q1, but now they're bringing it back. So I think it would be actually pretty cool to put together.
Yeah, so you can see the one on the bottom, one on the top, how different they are. So same brief, same product, completely different styles. So one's much more ultra premium, kind of minimalist, kind of airy style. The one on the top is this kind of retro style. But what's so cool is it did it while keeping your brand, your product, and created something that you can explore with. And I'll favor that one too. It's pretty cool.
Love it. All right, that's
Yeah.
really, really good. Okay, Chris, so before we wrap up, could you just give me access to that? Because I'm going to play with it as I'm going to be writing up the briefs
Yeah.
tomorrow. So the Olipop, I think it's such a cool brand.
Yep.
You can do because I think it's more standardized. Like because I only got access to Morning AI water, and then the Starbucks account. Like with Starbucks, for like visual purposes, even for LinkedIn, like the products are too different from each other. There's like coffee beans, all that. But if it's just soda pop, like if it's just cans, like it's pretty standard enough for us to be able to show all these different moods, styles, vibes. That would actually be really, really cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you access to a couple of them, and not all of these are
that'd
like
be cool.
fully fleshed out, by the way.
Sure.
But I'm gonna give you access to Nordstrom's, Olipop.
Burger King could be pretty good.
Burger King's a
That's
good one.
your-
We got a lot of stuff added for Burger King.
Nice.
And then I'll
And
do
that was your OG
Pro.
post, right? The burger from Burger King. So
Yep.
all right.
All right, my friend.
Yes.
You've got access.
Appreciate this.
If you refresh your browser, you should have access to everything.
Okay. I'm gonna check it right now to confirm, and then we're good to hop off. Let me just stop the recording.